just said goodnight to Mikey and just kind of gave the gave the hint to Mike that he kind of needs to do the bedtime routine tonight. So I know sometimes this time frame can be hard, so I'm going to record so that way we've got that as well. Um, but anyways, it is 8 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Jen Greenberg, and I'm the founder of Fit Family Network. Our team has been going strong for it'll be going on 10 years, which is so awesome. And I am just really excited for the people that we have on our team and the people that we are helping and just the way that we are growing and just different ideas and things that I have planned and in the works. So anyways, every time that I finish a PD book, I feel like I get obsessed with that author for, while I am spending time with them, you could say. So, when I was reading Marie Forleo's book, Everything is Figure Outable, all my Facebook posts and Instagram, whatever, had like Forleo quotes, and so I just recently finished Fear Boy by Judi Holler, and it was so good. And her vibe, her ideas, and the Audible version, just it was so good and spunky, and I loved that about her. And so anyways, one of the ideas that I took away from her book was basically the reason why I'm having this call. And I don't know if you guys can relate, but sometimes it's so easy to have all these things that are great ideas, like you listen to the National Wake Up Call or a PD or a team call or whatever, and you walk away with a list of ideas, but then you don't ever implement them. Implementation is really where the magic happens. So I was really intentional in actually taking action from some of the things I learned in Fear is Your Homeboy. And one of them was having she called it a mistake party. But basically, it's just coming together with your team, whether it's a team like ours or if it's a team if you worked in corporate world and you kind of had marketing and sales department and those kind of things, and you had company-wide goals, if you missed a goal or that kind of thing, you would kind of come together and collaborate in a meeting. So it's a little bit different since we're doing it virtually. I love her idea because she was talking about what do you call it? Reserving the conference room and decorating it with glitter and fun colored notebooks and stuff. So we're obviously not doing that. That would be fun though. But basically what the whole point of it is just because you possibly missed a goal or didn't get to where you wanted to achieve last month or last quarter or whatever goal that you're talking about, doesn't mean that there weren't actually gifts and positives and good things that happened. And it's I know for me, I said, I've been coaching for 10 years and I've, hit Success Club, I don't know, 70 times, but I've gone in between SC10 and SC5. And I'll definitely tell you, the first time that I dropped out of SC10 Legend, that stung, definitely did. However, looking back at it now, the thing that makes me where I think that I lost the blessing in that is there was probably so much good that I planted and watered and stuff in that month. And all I could see was that I didn't get SC10. I didn't see that I did get Success Club and that I did make new contacts and that I did invest in relationships and do whatever it is I did that month. That was a couple of years ago. So anyways, that's one of the biggest things that I want everybody to take away from this call is just kind of and I would love for this to be a collaborative call. Like, I don't want it to just be me talking. So if you, would speak up too, that would be great. And just kind of say like maybe what your goal was last month. And I'm just kind of using Success Club as the baseline, because that's something that a lot of us focus on, especially since last month was Team Cup month. And maybe like talk about what your goal was and what is a blessing that came out, what was a gift that happened last month from the work you did towards working towards your goal, regardless of if you hit it or not. So if somebody would share that would be awesome.
Oh, well, I can chime in just to get out the way. So I was just planning to make sure that I contribute to my team to kind of get my 3 people in there. And, February for me was still a hard month. I had people from last year that could have did their renewal through the challenge pack, but no one wanted to do that. And I think I forgot I was listening to one of my mini podcasts. Probably it was either Charlene, or it was probably the other one that's so great, Untamed, Glennon. I think it's Glennon. I can't think of it right now. Yes, ma'am. So that was it. So I was listening to, because I'm always up in the morning. So I was listening to that like stupid early on a Sunday, and it was like 5:30 in the morning. So I was like, you know what? Who's up? And I was like scrolling through Facebook or on the Messenger. I noticed that one of my really good friends I haven't talked to in like 20 years was up. So I just sent her a message, and I was like, hey, what are you doing up? And she's like, well, I can't sleep during this time. And so I was just like, okay. And I was like, you know what? Why not just ask her? Because at that point, I think I only had one person sign up. And so I was like, maybe I'll just ask her to sign up and see if she wants to do how's her health and fitness going. It's March. So I sent out like, hey, I need you to sign up and do this Beachbody. I've been doing Beachbody. I gave her the entire spill. I've been doing Beachbody with her, I've been doing Beachbody for about 2.5 years. I've gotten great results. I even sent her before and after photos. She was like, oh, okay. So we got a chance to talk about Beachbody, but we also got a chance to reconnect and get spun up with things that we haven't spoken about in years. And then I was like, you know what? If you sign up, I'm pretty sure our other really good friend Griselda will re-engage, because she signed up last year, but she didn't do anything with it. But we would, re-engage and maybe get her to sign up. So that Sunday, like from like 5:30 until like 10:30 p.m., I was just talking, and I actually got her to sign up. Griselda didn't sign up because her bod wasn't going to end until April, but she had her friend sign up. And I was like, there's my 3 people. If I would. So I guess the gift was me listening to my podcast and me just saying, you know what, I'm going to use the 5-second rule of Mel Robbins and say, F it, I'm just going to go ahead and ask her. If she says yes, she says yes. If she says no, she says no. That's where I was with that. And so I guess it was just like, just going for it. So that was my gift, just to not to think or talk myself out of asking, and just to go for it. So
that is so cool. And what I love about it too is you said like it's somebody you haven't talked to in 20 years, and now you're reconnected with her, like regardless of if like she does anything. I mean, of course we want her to get great results and all of that, but like how cool that you now are back in, regular chat with her. So that's so cool.
Yes. And I forgot. So we also formed a little pod on the Messenger. So we actually keep each other accountable every morning. And so she's like, oh my God, thank you for creating this little space for us. And we actually meet on Wednesdays at it'd be 8:00 Central Standard Time, because one's in Texas. And we just chat about how our week is going and how we're doing about, with our nutrition. And I really try to point them in the direction of, hey, you've purchased the challenge pack, or at least you have Fixate Cooking Show. So let's kind of really use the tools that we have. So yes, I was so excited. Now I'm trying to do the same thing for March.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Thank you for letting me share, Jen.
Yeah.
All right, I'm shut up now.
Does anybody else want to share?
I'll go next. So I Okay, I've been a coach for 5 years, and I've just been learning so much. I have some really awesome upline coaches who have really taught me a lot. And I feel like I've just been soaking it all in. And for Team Cup, I was blessed to be on an amazing team with other people who are on my level. And we have one, we have Jen that was on our team, but she kind of, I feel like she's our mother hen now. But the rest of us are on the same level. We're emerald, and we're really pushing, to get to that diamond level. And I feel like this is our time to shine, to really put all the trainings, everything that we have learned in the past 5 years to action, and to really act like that diamond coach. So within our little group, we are, we're going for it. We're starting to do weekly or monthly coach sneak peeks and challenge group sneak peeks. And we're really trying to just make that a habit, so that we get better at speaking, at what we're communicating to others. They say practice makes perfect, and it's time for us to get to that next level so that we can start, because I honestly don't hit Success Club every single month, but I know it starts with, being more confident in what I'm speaking about. And so that's my goal, is to really take that next level into leadership and bring some of you ladies on with me. That's it.
I love that. And I really, I can see such a difference in you, Linda, just in this last month, because Linda was the leader, even though I was on the team, but she was the Team Cup leader, and she really stepped up and just kind of put the plans in place, and gave the lineup for who's speaking when, and it was so helpful. And just doing it is great practice to be able to do it within that safe environment, and just be able to kind of figure it out as you go. So that was
yes.
awesome.
Yes, thank you.
For sure. Anyone else want to share on that? I have a couple other questions to go over. So I'll move on to the next one so we don't spend, because I want to be off by 8:30 so we can hop on to the superstar call. So did anybody learn something last month? Something new that you tried, something different, just something that you learned last month while you were working towards your goal? So for me, one thing I learned, I think a lot of us are trying to build our Instagram and get more efficient. I feel with Instagram, as you're trying to level up, you start realizing you can start spending more time, and you're oh gosh, just doing a story saying hey, I'm about to work out. It used to take 5 seconds, but now it's taking me 5 minutes, because I have to put the filter, and I have to put the captions, and then I have to find something cute to go with it, and then I have to put music, and you start compounding all these things. So one thing that I've been trying to do is taking the time to learn how to be more efficient. So I don't know everything about Instagram. And so I've been instead of just spending so much time just trial and error figuring it out myself, I've been looking it up on YouTube. And for captions, for example, I found out it's actually an app made by Instagram called Threads. And it automatically does the caption for you. It records and then dictate, or what's the word? Not dictate, but transcribes it into the text, and then you can edit it, because I apparently say a lot, so I go in and I just delete those out. So that's one thing. And I think in the past, in my mind, I always think oh, I don't have time, I'll figure it out later. But the reality is that I waste more time doing it the long, uneasy way, by just taking the time to be all right, Jen, stop. look and see what's the proper way to do this, what's the best way to do it, and then it's not as frustrating. So that's one little thing I've learned last month. Anyone else have anything on that one? Something new you learned?
So one thing I learned, oh, go ahead, Liz.
Oh, no. Well, no, I was going to say, like, in past meetings, Raleigh has always pointed out how, just invite a lot of people. Don't make the decision for somebody that they probably won't want to sign up. And I'm still kind of learning that, but I definitely have been learning that over like the past month or two, because there have been people who have mentioned to you were actually interested in it, and like in Beachbody and everything too. So, I mean, I think that's like one of the bigger lessons. I am learning, I'm still learning about that lesson, because I could be someone else who'd be on your team and someone else who can make a difference in other people's lives too. So I think that's like a big lesson for me. If that makes sense. But yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
I'll chime in there, because it's so true that we, like a lot of times we will be shy or timid or think that the person on the other side, we already have in our head what they are going to say or how they're going to react, but that's not our job. And that's if anything, you are doing them a disservice by not telling them or showing them this incredible solution. Like, we're not just going around like selling, subscriptions to magazines or whatever. Like, this is something you need to shout from the rooftops and want to get everybody in on it as much as possible, because why not? And if they say no, okay, then they say no. You're lost, all in all, so you have to get past that, because it's our obligation. I'll never forget it. Summit, like a few years ago, somebody said it is our obligation, our duty to like spread this and not hold back. And so I just want to chime in on that.
Yes, I totally agree. And I do that too. That's one of those things. It is hard it's just like that, that constant like negativity that lives, or the mean girl, that lives in your head. And you're like, oh, I already know that she goes to the gym, so I'm not going to bring it up. Yet like that girl could have like been having a conversation. Like, she could have had like the worst day at the gym and had like 5 gross guys like try and talk to her at the gym. And she could have been thinking like, gosh, I'm not going to the gym anymore, and it could have been like the perfect day to invite her. Then you missed it because you prejudged that she's a gym rat, So but that's like a constant, you have to like remind yourself every day. And since I am like on a Judi Holler kick right now, one of the references that she made in the book that I really loved, she was talking about fear, because obviously that's what the whole book was about. But she was saying like, if you think of a scale of 0 to 10, and like you put the most scary thing imaginable as a 10, like losing a loved one, or, falling off a cliff, or whatever is like super scary to you. And then like whatever it is that you're struggling with, or that you're like procrastinating on or not wanting to do, like invite somebody, like where does that rate on that scale? Like you have over here, like dying off of a cliff or inviting Cheryl from work, like where does that rate? And then it really puts it into perspective, like, okay, this is not a big deal. I could have already been done with it by now if I wasn't putting all this stuff in my head. So I really liked that analogy. Okay, so the next thing is, how can you improve this month and next? And I'll just start since I'm already off mute. So I know for me, I'm really trying to dive back into running free groups. And I've had this conversation with a few people, and like, I bounce ideas with my husband and stuff a lot as well. I I can see like a little bit of a shift in my business from when I started using like the pre-made templates and stuff. And like originally I thought they were like the best thing ever, and they were just such a great tool to be able to just have that go-to content, because like the Beachbody ones were kind of blah, and they weren't like my style as being like pretty graphics and stuff. And then, but I feel a little disconnected lately in the last few groups that I've run when using those. And then I've even tried, like, instead of posting them, like uploading and mass post scheduling them, like I've even tried doing them day by day so that I'm actually reading the post and stuff. And it's just not the same excitement. And if you guys listened to the Dynasty Superstar call from last week, the girl was talking about like rebuilding momentum. And she was saying, like, when you start kind of losing that excitement from your groups, like you have to create something new. When like anytime that you go into creation mode or like a creative mindset, then you're going to be that much more like engaged and excited when you do share it and like run people through this thing that you created yourself. So that's one thing that I'm going to improve on and do different this month and going into next month, is kind of get back to creating my own thing. Like, even if it's, maybe has like a baseline of some other stuff that I've already used, but just like really getting back in and putting my thumbprint on it more than I have been. Anyone else have anything to share on this one? Improving this month and next?
So I think one of the biggest things for me that I want to improve on this month and next month is the fact that I've been letting like my inner mean girl, she's been talking a lot and really loud. And then I've also been doing a lot of like random scrolling and seeing people post things. Like one of my best friends from back home posted something about MLMs and, had some negative baloney to say about it. And so I've actually, like, that has really been triggering for me. So I've decided that unless it's something that's going to like fill my cup, it's not going to be part of what I'm doing. So I'm going to be taking like time off of social media, and unless I'm inviting, I'm not going to be on it or, posting. And I've made myself a post schedule just so that I can focus on like, this is my post, this is what I'm doing, and then jumping off of it, because otherwise I realize like I get sucked into the traps of like that negativity. So I figured I need to fill my cup and do what's best for me first before anything else. And that's going to help my business in the long run. So that's what I need to improve on this next month.
I'm with her. I'm with Courtney. Like, the scrolling and all that wasted time is like, it doesn't do anything. And if anything, it just makes you kind of feel a certain way. And it's not uplifting. She's right. I mean, even, so in the morning, that's like my biggest is like, I'll be like waiting for my Zoom like to come on or whatever. And I'm just like, I'm sitting here and I'm scrolling. I'm like, why are you scrolling? Why don't you just like do other things that would be like beneficial? So that for me is definitely an eye opener. I think just like so much wasted time, and for what? It's not doing anything. It's not filling your cup. If anything, it's emptying it. So, and in the morning, I feel like is the time where you need to like fill that cup. Hey, Mike. So.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah. Rude, Mike, rude.
Okay, so I would do that too. Like, I would be so good about getting up in the morning, like alarm is going off at 5 and I am up. I'm not hitting snooze or doing any of those things. But then I like waste all this time because I'm like, oh, well, I need to make a post, but I need to get inspired. And so I'll like look at my phone, and then like 20 minutes later and nothing has happened. And it's like, oh my gosh, like I could have already been done with my workout by now. And so it's just kind of being mindful that that's happening and that you're falling down that rabbit hole. And there was something I learned from Shalene Johnson a while ago where she said, like, if you enjoy scrolling social media, like whether it's Instagram or Pinterest or whatever, like if you enjoy that, then schedule time to do that for your personal enjoyment. Like not as, oh, I'm doing my Beachbody time and I'm going to scroll through and see what this coach is doing and what this challenger has posted or whatever. I mean, you know, that's different. You guys know what I mean. So, but she said, if you do enjoy it, and a lot of us do enjoy social media. I mean, that's kind of how we all met and connected in the first place. So, but you have to kind of keep it in its own box. Okay, so we only have a few more minutes. The last question was, did you grow last month? If anyone, I will say that for me, Courtney says absolutely, yay. I grew, and I know for me, I've talked about it in Fit Family Network, you know, between the different vital behaviors and things like that, sometimes you're really strong in one of them and then another one kind of falls off. It's kind of like your house, like you clean your kitchen, and then like if your kitchen is clean, then like your laundry room is a mess. Like the whole house is never all clean at once, or maybe that's just me, I don't know. But I've had that happen in my business where like if I'm on point with my programs and I am doing start to finish, my nutrition is on point, then there's other parts of my business that have lacked. And so I know for me, a couple years ago, I was in a bad habit of not finishing programs because I would go to the like squirrel moment of, oh, a new program is coming out, and, you know, not finish what I was doing. So then I decided then I was going to start and finish, like no more jumping around. And so then I really got that under my belt, but then I was doing the same exact thing with the PD. I was start and stopping and like, oh, this girl on the National Wake Up Call said that this is the best book ever. So I'm going to stop reading John Maxwell and I'm going to read whatever, you know, and I was never like finishing. So that's been something I started focusing on towards the end of last year. And I not in the past couple of years, I didn't really set any specific book goals, but this year I did. So I'm doing 24 books, two books a month. And so I know I've grown because I am being so intentional to make sure I'm getting my PD in every day. So if anyone else has anything to share, I know all of us grew because we're all here and wanting to get better. So yeah, Liz, when I was a semi-new coach, well, not new, but a new diamond, I would say, I set a goal of, because Scotty did, of a 52 book goal one time. And that didn't not happen. And then it's kind of the reason why I made this call. Like, you know, sometimes when you set these big audacious goals and then you fall short, then you don't ever want to set a goal like that again. So that's kind of what I did with the book thing. And then ever since I didn't have a book goal, then I wasn't focusing on it and making it a priority. But now I finally set a new goal, and I think it's much more manageable for where I'm at in life right now. So.
You know, Jen, I haven't. So the reason why I'm so quiet is like you've asked some really good questions. And so I'm like, man, if I would have had these a little bit before, I probably would have had better answers, a better response. But you give me something to look at and look like maybe reevaluate myself and go, okay, did I grow? Okay, what part? Okay, if I didn't grow the way I should have, okay, how do I go back and do it? So I like your questions, and it's really making me think long and hard what I do.
Welcome. Yes, I guess I could have posted them, but you guys know me. I didn't have the questions ready until a couple hours before the call. So
Yeah, I'm trying to think now ways I could grow too. Like as a person just in the business. I'm like, okay, how can I grow? Because I do like trying new different programs when they come out just so I can, tell other people, but like, okay, this is what I liked about that program or that wasn't quite for me, basically, so I could tell my opinions on them too. But there's so many other ways for me to grow. So I'm like, where can I do that? So that's going to get me thinking, the question that you had.
yeah, well, good.
So,
Another, I know it's 8:30, but another way that I believe I have grown some as well is being a part of the Nutrition Plus membership. I honestly just assumed I would cancel that. But I have fallen in love with Alana. Like, I think she is so awesome. And I love watching her videos and her office hours and stuff. And I know there's a lot of us in Fit Family that really love nutrition and love learning about that kind of stuff. And honestly, that's never really been a big passion for me. I like cooking, but I like that's kind of like where it ends for me. But I really have enjoyed those office hours and like the different live calls. And she does like some calls where she kind of does live coaching with some of her clients. And I thought that stuff has been really cool. And, when we're doing social media trainings and different stuff that have been exposed to on team calls or whatever, everyone is always value, 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 like there's motivational videos and stuff like that already out there. People want like takeaway, digestible tips that they can implement into their life. And so things like that I think have helped me grow just because I didn't have enough interest in it before to go out and seek the information, but the way that they give it to you in the nutrition thing is really cool. But you have to go. You have to go and check it out though. So that's something else to check out.
I like Autumn's because she does like the same thing. She'll coach like somebody through and I'm like, oh, I can like use that so much, like just with like the foods and different foods and how they fill you up and just things like that and just things that you don't even, I mean, I know, but not like that. And it's just it's educating, that's for sure. And it's worth it. It's worth the money.
Is you how to coach other people too,
right?
Because I get people that ask me questions or give me their scenario of what's going on, and sometimes I just don't really know. And I'm like, oh, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how you'd fit it cooking into your schedule either. Go to a drive-thru. I don't know. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much for hopping on. I hope that this was beneficial, and I really want to, I think that this is just a great way to kind of reflect and just kind of see where you're at and where you need to put your focus on. So I'm going to hop onto the other call. I hope you guys do that as well. It sounds like it's going to be a good one, and I will see you all in Fit Family. Good night.